Right. Well, excited to get into this series. Now we have kind of seen it before, but like I said, I have trouble remembering like what I have for breakfast. So we're gonna look at this as a new game, and I'm excited to see where it goes throughout this series. REYNOR gonna be taking an expansion, opening things up, while we do see Dream going into that more standard racks, eventually kind of into an expansion. We'll see where he wants to go with this. Now, both players have been showing some pretty strong plays throughout the years. REYNOR really having a lot of success lately, winning IEM and stuff like that. So definitely excited to see how he kind of flourishes in this map, and just as excited to see him as a continuing player. Dream, definitely one of those old vets coming back and still showing that, hey, you can take a little bit of a break, you can come back and still be able to do well as long as you are willing to put the time in. So we do have the CC coming down now for Dream. REYNOR on the other side, finally getting his spawning pool up and running. And we'll see, REYNOR is one of those players that isn't afraid to go Lingbane. He isn't afraid to go Roaches. He's not afraid to change things up. And he's very versatile where he doesn't have to go the same build every game. He can change it up and really kind of go with whatever comp he wants to. There's definitely ones that he's more like, I guess, stronger with, but definitely see. Right, so and as we are kind of waiting to see where things are going to go from here, we do see the Reaper coming in, trying to get a couple of kills. He has not been able to, is able to at least damage some of these units. Actually gets a drone, pretty nice kill. Eventually, with the Queen coming out, will force this back. Now, the Lings and the drones eventually will start healing up. They do have that kind of regenerative effect. Even a third hatch coming out here now for our player Dream. And now Dream just going to go ahead and keep his Reaper at home. Maybe try to poke in a little bit, but REYNOR already on top of it on the other side. He's just going to be going into that factory with the Hellions. Eventually could be going into maybe a Banshee. He's a player that's not afraid to throw down like battle cruisers either, so we will see where he wants to go with this. And maybe, I mean, doesn't play mech that often, but it is something that he could do as well. But against a player like REYNOR, I don't know how well you want to actually do that, so we'll kind of see where he ends up going with this. Now, Hellion's going to be making its way across the map. We still have that Reaper up, and eventually this does get kind of just joined together. You already see REYNOR across the map with his overlords. Wants to get in some scoutings, and as we say that, you do see that fusion core coming down for Dream. So definitely looks like he is eventually going to be going into the battle cruiser play. Now, REYNOR getting a beautiful scout here, and actually is going to see that fusion core, and that is probably the best pickup that he could actually see. It's going to give him plenty of time to build up build up queens, even getting some roaches, going into like a Ravager style we've seen. So we'll kind of see where he wants to go with this. Now, the Hellions and Reaper for Dream not going to be, too aggressive. We even see the Viking for Dream just going to start clearing up some of the creep, some of the vision. And this is something that we actually see REYNOR do. As we saw him scout, getting that Overlord speed is very crucial. Like, it used to be one of those things that it was, if you were going into Mutas and you were getting the Overseers and stuff like that, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I can go ahead and, just get Overlord speed so my Overseer can keep up. But we really have seen people like REYNOR, like Serral. I think even like Rogue does it too. And more Zergs are starting to kind of flourish. It's a cheap upgrade, and even when the Terran isn't going to let you scout, Just allows you to get in so much easier, so much quicker, and a lot of times your Overlord can just get away without even, you know, dying. So it's not sacrificing your supply. But Battlecruiser is almost done. We do have a stim on the way. Hellions going to start trying to push the creep back, really just trying to deny any kind of vision from REYNOR. But again, REYNOR knows that this attack is coming. He knows that there's Battlecruisers on the way. And we will start seeing that first battlecruiser making its way across the map. REYNOR is in those roaches. He's adding on more drones, getting the Evo chambers to start some like +1 upgrades. But I'm curious, he hasn't made any Ravagers yet. It's just been strictly the roaches. He's only got 4 and he's got 5 lings. So really just trying to make as many drones as possible before having to really deal with it. You see he is at 8 queens though, so more than enough to defend against what Dream has here. That's just something that's been so crucial and really good for the Zerg to actually kind of figure out how to defend this, is just getting that queen count up and shutting things down so where you don't have to necessarily like jump up to Hydras really quickly or anything like that. You can just get a bunch of queens that are fairly cheap in minerals. You can just drone up. You don't have to sacrifice your larva to make anything else. So, Dream looking to attack up here towards the 4th base that's already been taken. Not yet done though, and we'll look to kind of finally complete this up. Queen's going to try to push back the Battlecruiser. Now, the Battlecruiser did actually just kind of float across. It didn't teleport, so he still has that available if it does get low. But look at this run by happening now from REYNOR. There's a nice little block, so it will eventually get kind of pushed back here. Going to pick off a Hellion, but still keeps out with most of the lings, and that's going to be really nice for him. That will allow him later on, as we see him getting bailing speed, to, you know, do some run-bys if he so desires. Dream's definitely one of those players that loves to rally across the map and just continue to keep his opponent at home. REYNOR, though, does have those Ravagers coming up. The tank going to siege up onto the high ground. Ravager shots, though, will be able to take it down as the Battlecruiser trying to get on top of the Queens, and the Ravagers will be able to finally kind of push back the small Marine force. The tank's going to return back home. And Dream realizing, hey, I don't want to overextend. I can't really push into this area. And we'll just kind of regroup himself. Now, we do have an infestation pit on the way. You see a nice little push once again as the Queen's starting to try to get across the map. Forces the pickup. But, yeah, I mean, he's got to be careful with this. The one thing that's going to be very crucial in this series is REYNOR's creep spread just gets insane. He's already almost to the base of Dream. And even though Dream has been trying to kind of shut it down, we see him just pushing this more and more across. So it definitely starts kind of, in a sense, strangling the Terran, right? It gets him into a point where it's hard to take the bases. It's hard to be able to fly in, to do drops without being seen because there's so much creep being spread. And you spend more time just trying to clear the creep than actually trying to engage into the army. Now, lots of Bailings are here. We do see the Marines trying to force themselves back. Trying to take this engagement as best as he can. Does actually force a pickup, though. We will see him kind of recuperate, but now we see that Battlecruiser for Dream looking to potentially just kind of shoot on these opponents in the army here of REYNOR. The only thing really shooting up is those Ravagers, and as long as Dream is paying attention, he's going to be more than fine in taking care of those and missing those shots. So he is able to at least force REYNOR to kind of pull back. Another attack looking to go down, and Dream just hanging out onto the vision at this point. Wants to make sure if REYNOR does try to go across the map that he's going to be more than prepared. +2 on the way for REYNOR, while we do see him going up to that Hive Tech. So we'll allow him to go up to Infestors if he wants to, or just kind of go into... Beautiful surround there, actually. We'll force a Dream back, and now we have a nice little attack up at the top. The tanks will end up kind of getting backed up, and REYNOR in the face of this push, looking to just take that top base at this point. Realizing that the tanks are there It's going to go ahead and back up for the time being. Now, he still does have this big force down at the bottom, and this battlecruiser still getting the damage. We see that Dream not fully committing onto the battlecruisers. I think he only made 2. Oh, no, just the 1, right? Yeah, just the 1. And still, it's just kind of being used to keep track of the army. Essentially, just, you know, if there's some lings coming down and it's able to see it, gonna do something with that. But we actually see an Ultra's Cavern halfway done now for REYNOR. He's getting adrenaline speed and going into that kind of Ling Bane Ultra style. Nice little pickup as another run-by does come through here. The battlecruiser trying to take care of the Lings, but not going to be enough. A nice little small force at home. Going to start pushing it in, but not before 17 drones or SCVs have been taken care of. At the same time, Dream across the map, taking care of the 4th base, attacking onto the 3rd base location. Or the 5th base at this point. Only getting 7 drones. 17 SCVs have been taken out as well. And yeah, I mean, we are going to eventually see these tanks getting split up. Some okay splits coming out from Dream. But with the Crucibles coming down and just too many Lings, he will force a pickup once again. But getting that new base is very nice. It's not super crucial, but it is going to help add to, you know, trying to come back to this. But we already see REYNOR floating into minerals. He's got the gas coming through. And that creep spread getting very, very close to the 3rd base. And that is when we're going to see Dream have some problems. He's not going to be able to make more depots. He's not going to be able to make, you know, barracks or anything like that on the creep. And we actually see a nice little change into Spire Tech here. Really, REYNOR just trying to open up all pathways. So if he needs to make the switch, he can. He's even thrown in a few Vipers here to deal with the tanks. And you really can't complain with that. So there we go. Nice little attack coming out here now for REYNOR. It does look like Dream wants to push into this. He's going to get the tanks onto the high ground. Does have those pre-splits going on now. And it sees that the Ultras are out. He needs to be able to focus onto those, but essentially just trying to deal with them at home. We do see that battlecruiser as well attacking down towards that bottom 6th base. Is he on? Yeah, he's on 6 bases now. 9 SCVs do end up going down, and this is one thing that is very crucial for REYNOR, as he does send another force across the map to deal with this. As even though he's being attacked, he's going to send Lings to do some counterplays. He knows, hey, you're sending a lot of your army here. I'm going to be able to deal with it, but we do see finally the Ultra is going to be able to push this back. There's basically enough medevacs for each Marine being used, but they haven't been able to heal as it continuously is being moved back. Crucible is going to land on top of the tank, or excuse me, on top of the battlecruiser, taking it out, and we will finally start seeing Dream pushing once again, but gotta be honest, I'm a little afraid here for REYNOR, or excuse me, for Dream. REYNOR's sitting at 83 drones. He's got, you know, about the same army supply, but we do see him going into those Bailings, which will be able to wreck this army if Dream does not split properly against this. And with the help of the Ultra, it just makes it so hard to gauge into this because it's constantly on your tail. The Lings coming back once again, gonna just continuously shut down this 3rd base, getting another 10 kills here. And pushing into it a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, there's only a handful of units here. He can't attack into this. The other attack going up towards the top. The tanks on the high ground, though, will be able to kind of push it back for the time being, even transitioning into the Liberators. Trying to help it, but now Rey's like, okay, you know, you got that defended. Let me just go up here to this 3rd base and let me just destroy it. He's got the Corruptors to deal with medevacs, to deal with Liberators. He's got the Chitinous plating done to deal with that. 25 SCVs falling, able to get the base, and now we see Dream trying to do basically his final push. He has to get something done here to stay in this game. Tank's going to get nice and sieged up. There is a pretty Marauder-heavy army, so that will help him out, and he does have a couple of Liberators. But we'll see, as it's just going to be units from all sides of the map, going to be able to pick up the tanks. The Marauders trying to focus down the Ultras, but the Queens able to transfuse onto the Ultras, making them almost immortal. And yeah, now even the Corruptor is going to be able to take care of the Medivacs. It looks like now Dream trying to push back, trying to siege up, but not going to be enough. And GG's will be called in the top right of Oxide. Give it up for the blue Zerg player. It is REYNOR. Spawning down in the bottom left. Give it up for the Terran player. It is Dream. Alrighty, so game at number 2 coming out here for our players. And yeah, man, I'm excited to see... Kind of excited to see where things go here. You know, REYNOR is not a player that necessarily likes to cheese. He can throw it out from time to time, but it's not something that he's dead set on. He normally just kind of plays standard and really just kind of reacts to his opponent, unless he wants to get aggressive. Dream isn't afraid to throw the cheese in there in a series. He's not afraid to do proxy raxes. He's not afraid to just be completely aggressive. He's not like a player like Beyond where he just has drops everywhere. He's attacking in like 5 different locations. He can do like maybe 2 or 3 at the most, but for the most part, he loves to send his army just all together and just try to overwhelm his opponent. So we'll see here if he does end up going into maybe more of an aggression play, or if he just kind of sits back and grows up. And you see Dream looking to go into an expansion. REYNOR, of course, already taken his, going into that hatch first into pool. We'll see how quickly he wants to take his 3rd base. Imagine it's going to be kind of a standard like 2:15 timing around there. 2:30, something like that. But we'll see. We'll see kind of where he heads into this. Obviously, sending that Overlord up top, making sure that it is indeed going to be an expansion, that it's not going to be some kind of quick 3 racks play up in his face in a proxy location. So, Reaper making its way across the map now. We'll actually be able to pick up the drone, but the drone will eventually kind of morph into the extractor for the moment, just to be safe. Gets the cancel, and now we'll take at 3rd base location. And nice little delay. Looking to get on top of another drone, but REYNOR doing a really good job microing this around, making sure he's not losing anything. And eventually Dream just loses the Reaper here. Not off to the best start. REYNOR definitely looking like he's showing up today. But you see Dream going back into that Hellion mode, and do we actually see him go into battle cruisers again? I feel like the battle cruisers from last time didn't do that much. Like, he kept them alive for a long time. They were able to clear up the creep. You know, did get a lot of like link kills and stuff, but what? It didn't feel very useful against the queens. And then eventually, you know, corruptors and stuff get involved. Ended up losing it to the Ravagers. So we'll see. It is going to be the tech lab down for the Marines. Going to be getting stim, and it is going to indeed be the starport with a Viking. So no Overlord speed this time for REYNOR. He's going to slowly just kind of move in, sees that there are going to be Vikings, and sees the moving of the tech lab onto the barracks, so it does let him know, hey, it's not going to be some kind of crazy Banshee play real quick. Right. Hellions keeping their way across the map as speed for REYNOR is about done. Dream going to use these, maybe just kind of poke in, see where the army is, see what's to expect. You know, is REYNOR going to go into a quick Ravager Roach kind of timing? Is this going to be going Lean Banes? We do see that he is going into Bailings, but Dream obviously does not know that yet. He's just going to continue to try to poke in, maybe try to get a couple of drones or something. Viking looking to get on top of the Overlords and just keep REYNOR at the supply block as long as possible. He does end up getting it. Supply blocking REYNOR even more than what he already was, so very not the best situation for him. He does actually have a couple of Overlords on the way, so we'll eventually be able to kind of even that up. But this gives an opportunity for Dream to build up more tanks, build up more Marines, get his upgrades going. and not have to worry about a big influx of units. REYNOR, though, going to send across a couple of lings, wants to poke in, maybe see what's going on, see if he can get a good scout on, and yeah, he's just going to continue to go. Does end up losing it, but at least knows kind of where everything is at in the natural. Does look like Dream now going to be going into more barracks, adding those on and starting to go into that bio play, and we already see REYNOR spreading that creep, getting things ready. We'll be taking a 4th base here very soon, and we'll see. Does he want to go into mutas? Do we see him go into like the Hydra lurker style that seems to be like really popular right now? We'll see what ends up happening. Hellions will be able to clear up some of the creep, doing a pretty good job. He does lose one of them, but not too bad. You see that 4th base now wanting to be taken. And so far, Dream doing a pretty good job. Oh, he gets the kill on the 4th base. Oh man, that's good. That's good. We got that layer on the way now for REYNOR as well, so he will be able to go up into the higher tech units. Dream trying to pull the queens out of position and doing like this kind of cool little multitasking. It's shut down now, but really interesting to see him just trying to open up opportunities to be able to get in, to be able to clear creep, not have to worry so much about the queens themselves. See a nice little attack coming up towards the top. Tank's going to go ahead and siege up onto the high ground, clearing up creep once again. Yeah, I mean, the queen's going to pull back, transfusing on top of each other. The Bailings still are on slow, so they don't have that Bailing speed yet. Going to be able to get focused down here by the Marines, by the tanks, and still those queens getting it damaged pretty heavily here. The Marines kind of backing up back and forth. It looks like finally the queens will end up going down. The Marines still alive. GG's! Like that. Dream gonna take game number 2 and tie things up here. Alrighty, so game at number 3 coming down here for these players. Man, it's been a good series so far. A lot of action-packed, a lot of back and forth. And now, with game 3, I think we kind of see an equalizer in it. Both players going to play a little bit more, I don't want to say standard, but I definitely think it's going to be a little bit easier for them through it all. So, we'll see. Dream. Going to be coming down now with the barracks. Obviously going to be going into that racks into expansion. Very standard stuff from Dream and most Terrans in general. Doesn't look like he's going to go for a second gas too quickly and try to do some kind of crazy play. So, 6lings on the way now for REYNOR. Does have that natural down. Going into the first, allows him to be a little bit more aggressive, and I think for the first time in this series, we're going to see REYNOR be a little bit more assertive in this match. Now, he's not fully committing to an attack here. He's just making a handful of lings, going to try to deny the expansion, as well as try to deny maybe anything being made here, and allow himself to get in, maybe get a couple of SEV kills and stuff like that. We will see. Alrighty, so lings going to be making their way across the map. Not going to get scattered by the Reaper, as it is making his way across the map as well. Both players going to receive at, or come into each other's bases at about the same time. You see those lings looking for the cancel, trying to get a wraparound onto the SCV. We'll be able to actually get into the main base. The SCVs for Dream actually going to get pulled and try to deal with this, but already three, almost 4 SCVs do go down. Now finally that Reaper can go back across the map. Marine gonna try to shut down the Overlord and get that supply block that he craves. And now we do see that third base coming through. It is a little bit delayed. You know, it's a little about 30 seconds or so delayed from where he actually wants to be at, but because he did open up a little bit more in that quote-unquote aggressive stuff. We'll see. Even since the factory over to kill off the Overlord. Holy cow. Reaper gonna make its way to the third base. Go. Does look like finally Dream will start making some Hellions. It's delayed because he did float it around, which I'm kind of curious about that. Like, we don't see that happen a lot. Normally you'll send like the barracks or something over while you can make your Hellions, but very nicely done. Dream just not starting to get done for REYNOR. Speed is finishing up for him. He is going to make a handful of Lings here. So far he's at 2. He's got 6 more on the way. We'll see from here kind of what he wants to do now. He's going to send those Lings across once again, potentially for another, you know, just run in. That little, like, Ling run by. Wants to get some more kills, try to get on top of some of the infantry here. Does see the Hellions, trying to get on top of them, but realizes I'm not going to be able to get him, and does indeed get inside. We will see him get out. A pretty good scout sees the third base being taken. And, you know, in a pretty good position, to say the least. Now, we do have the lair on the way. Baling Nest is down. And we actually see Dream pushing across the map now. He's got those 4 Hellions. He's got the Reaper. And just wants to continue to put on the pressure. Try to deny creep as much as possible. Even has the Viking out to deal with Overlords, so... Go. Alrighty. Dream now looking to go up towards the north base. Queen's already in position. He does have those Lings. Don't think he's got any Balings yet. No, doesn't have any Balings yet. But he does have that Baling Nest done. Going to be throwing down a couple of Spore Crawlers. Hellbat's going to get moved in here. We will start seeing him push into this third base. Instantly, drone's going to be taken out now. We do actually see Balings on the way here. He's got to be careful. They're about to pop. And he's pretty grouped up here. And here we go. Trying to split up those Hellbats as best as possible. We do actually see him cleaning it up. 1 Hellion taking 3 of those shots pretty easily. And we do actually see Dream backing up. Now, delaying the mining time. But behind this, REYNOR taking a 4th base. Looking like it was okay for Dream. But... losing that much and not really getting the damage done. It's just not the best opportunity here for him. Link's going to do a little bit of a run by trying to shut down the SCVs coming across for the third base. But with Marines there, should be able to push it back. There we go. Alrighty, so the Baling Nest is on it. Or Baling Speed, excuse me, is on the way. +1 as well for REYNOR as he is starting to go more into that heavier Ling style. Now definitely could go back into that Ultra Tech. It did seem to work out for him pretty well. He is throwing down a macro hatch here, which will allow him to just start making a big number of units. And because it is sitting so close to this hatchery, it's going to allow him to, you know, put on some of that juicy larva spray that those queens are so noticeable for. Link's looking to do a little bit of a run by, and there is actually a Widowmine here. Not the best hit, but it does at least deter REYNOR for the time being. Gonna go ahead and bring up those supply depots, make sure he doesn't lose too much. And we'll eventually be able to force this back, clearing up the Lings. And honestly, it's not a bad clear off here for Dream. 4th base going to be on the way for Dream as well. And behind this is going to be those Balings. Baling Speed just now completing. 30 Lings on the way. Holy cow. Definitely going heavy into the Ling Bane. especially against, you know, going into Widow Mines and stuff here from Dream. Be an interesting play. We do see the nice little split coming out for Dream. Able to clear up those Bailings without taking too much damage. There are some Bailings up at the top, though. Looking to roll in here as we do see Dream starting to spread the creep. Widow Mine does get burrowed down. Bailing's still going to hang out towards the back as we do see more Bailings being morphed in. 12 to be exact. It looks like REYNOR wants to get a nice surround onto the army here of Dream. +2 on the way for Dream, though. REYNOR going up into that infestation pit, and eventually will be able to go up into either the Spire Tech, or even go, like I said, back into Ultras, go into Lurkers. Kind of see where he wants to go with it. Not the best hits here, as it's going to get surrounded. REYNOR starting to pull ahead as we do see, you know, Dream trying to attack in multiple positions, but REYNOR is just too on top of things. He's able to split his army up pretty well. See where he ends up going from here. Now, Bailings are looking for a nice little run by down towards the bottom. Unfortunately, Dream has not been able to take a 4th base, so he's been on 3rd base for a while. Of course, another pickup here, trying to bait the mine shots, and yeah, just completely shuts it down. Even gets the mine. And there we go. Dream gonna have to end up backing up. There are some Widow Mines on top. Just trying to scout and see where the opponent is wanting to go. Even gonna send out some of his own mine drops towards the bottom. There's just so much here for REYNOR. He's got so many Lings. He's going up into Hydra Tech. Does have the Hive on the way. This will allow him to eventually go up into Lurkers, and that's when it gets very, very tough for Dream. So let's see how committed he is into the Widow Mines at this point. Yeah. It's not looking the best here for Dream. He's going to start pushing in, though, getting a lot of the creep starting to kind of clear up. Not too bad, not too bad. Able to clear up a good chunk of those Lings. Going to drop in the back, but the Lings going to be able to surround and just kind of shut things down for the moment. Marines and the Mines going to go down here towards the 5th base at the same time. Does get a couple of hits onto the Overlord. And unfortunately, the Lings, yeah, not doing the most damage, but we do see the Mines just attacking his own units and killing off a lot of those Marines. The Queens now eventually will be able to kind of push over here. I think he has enough to maybe deal with the Queens themselves, and even down here at the top now, trying to push in, trying to deal with it, and will actually force the pickup once again, moving back. Unfortunately, he just has not been able to make that much of a stride. Does end up getting the Queens, trying to focus himself back. He does have that mine as well. Once he gets the pickup, going back onto the high ground. And yeah, I think for the moment, REYNOR going to hold off this bottom base. But hold on. Dream sending more and more units across to deal with this. He's got +3 on the way. More mines are getting warped in. But the minefield here is just massive. There we go. Alright, so mine's going to burrow up once again. Ends up not even being able to land. Eventually the Hydras are out and going to be able to shut down the mines. Same time, we do see a nice push all over the map as eventually Dream starting to push across and clear up the creep, trying to get on top of this top base, this 3rd base location. Widow Mine's going to get some okay shots, but eventually he's going to force a pickup and will be moved back once again. Even the Marines and Marauders up towards the bottom base. Adaptive Talons and Seismic Spines on the way, about finished up, as finally we see the 4th and the 5th base around for Dream. This is where it gets kind of crazy, right? Lurkers are now out for REYNOR, and unfortunately Dream cannot just engage into this. He's going to attack towards the bottom where there is no Lurkers at the moment. At the same time, going to go up towards the top base. And the Lurker's just going to push the top back. Even trying to force and pick up onto the high ground, but now with Lurkers in position, Dream definitely in some trouble here. Link's going to be able to finally kind of clean this up. Yeah, I mean, Dream doing a pretty good job of continuously trying to harass, but unfortunately it's at this point where, you know, these lurkers are just going to be able to sit there, be sieged up, and not really going to be able to do much. We even see him taking another base behind all of this. Yes, creep spread is not across the map. It is about halfway as Dream continuously tries to push it back, but oh man, another attack going down towards the bottom. We'll eventually get pushed back for the time being, but oh man, this is tough. Alright, so it looks like some good splits coming out here, down at the bottom, at the same time at the top. Trying to shut down whatever units he can, but unfortunately not able to get all of the lurkers. Ends up losing that 4th base. And yeah, this is just not looking good now for Dream. 16 SCVs end up falling. More behind this could be there. And yeah, links is everywhere. There are tanks on the high ground, but God, you just don't know. I mean, he is starting to kind of do this like little push, but I feel like he hasn't been making that much ground as of late, especially since the lurkers have come out. He's going to be throwing in some Vipers behind this, and that's going to shut down these tanks that are trying to slowly start sieging on top of this. There we go. Some splits are going to come out. We'll actually force the lurkers behind. Nice scan. We'll eventually be able to clean up the lurkers after losing quite a bit of army, and now we have those lings getting on top of the rest of the army that's already damaged here. And it does actually get the base now, so this is a nice pickup for Dream. He's going to start pushing in, but has to be careful, especially with those lurkers sitting on the top like that. Find him in a tough position already. We do see REYNOR flying back into this now. REYNOR is sitting at 93 workers to the 62 of Dream. And Dream looking to go into the main base now. Tanks on the low ground, going to siege up. Obviously start trying to attack on top of this, but it does actually force Dream back to the low ground, trying to get on top of his tanks and essentially just focus a central attack. Going to get on top of the lurkers, throwing down his army wherever he can. The Lynx, though, going to get a beautiful surround. The tanks are going to end up shooting themselves. The Viper's going to get in position and force those tanks into the maw of the Zerg. Now REYNOR is going to go ahead and burrow down towards the bottom. Dream in some trouble. Righty, Lings going to be making into some bailings, as we do see him sitting at he's got 4 right now. He's making an additional 9, so he's going to have about 13 bailings, adding on actually 22. Wow. And now even moving slowly now with the lurkers. In a tough position. We do see him pull back, trying to get a surround with the army here of Dream. But with these lurkers burrowed in the ground, we'll actually force them back. But now REYNOR actually on the move. He's got +3, about to finish up. I mean, it really could be anyone's game. I mean, I definitely put it in favor of REYNOR here. He's got the lurkers. He's been on more bases for longer. Even the bailing shots have been really killer here. Going to be able to get on top of the 5th base location. The 6th base is now binding. This is not looking good. He's going to come down here with the tanks to siege up onto the 7th base. Yeah, just completely demolishes everything. 19 SCVs do go down. There's 124 supply to 187. GG's. We see REYNOR getting the victory. Right, so spawning in the top left of Romanticide. Give it up. It is REYNOR. And in the bottom right, in the blue, the Terran player, it is Dream. Right. So, game number 4. Getting very close to the end here. REYNOR, of course, on match point, as we said. And, you know, I'm interested. It's been a nice back and forth. It does seem like Dream keeps trying to do these pushes, but this has not worked out for him at all. I'm actually seeing Dream now going into a proxy rack situation. We knew it was going to happen. Knew it was going to happen, and of course, this is the case. So, double rack's going to be coming out. REYNOR's Overlord, though, getting very, very close to actually scouting it out. He's going right towards it. Oh, no. Oh, no. He doesn't see it. He doesn't scout at all. Oh, man. REYNOR could be in some serious trouble here. Now, he did go into pool first, so that will allow him to be a little bit more defensive starting out, or at least more offensive. He's going to have lings. He's going to have things to kind of defend against us, but I definitely kind of worry about him. We do see those SCVs now going to at least mine out the minerals here to be able to start, just going straight across into the natural. This is just not looking good. Sixlings, though, on the way. You see the Marines coming forth. And this Dream just going to start sieging up his area. Bunker is now down, though. We do see the lings coming out. Thankfully, he was able to go into pool first. It's probably the best situation that could have been for him in this case. Let's get the cancel onto the bunker. The Marines still pushing forward, though. There's only 3 of them, with 2 more being made at a time. And even the Queen now going to come down to help. He's got the lings to help, even pulling a couple of drones to deal with this. Realizing the severity of this, if he does not shut it down, if he is not able to kill off the bunker, he's not able to eliminate the Marine count. Ling's going to go on top of the Marines. He does not have speed on the way, as he is kind of sacrificing some of it here. Able to kill off a couple of Marines, but not going to be enough. Able to kill off the SCV, though, and that's going to be the... No, he didn't even get the Marines. He does kill off the SCVs, though, so no bunker is going to be in place, but the Marines, as they continue to grow in numbers, become stronger and stronger. Even at home, we do see Dream going into a factory, so he's looking to eventually transition into, another tech or something. Now, good thing here for Dream is on REYNOR's side. Even though he does have a good number of queens, they don't have that much energy, so not going to be able to transfuse like they want to. We do see him eventually just kind of moving his barracks across the map. For the time being, just trying to at least keep REYNOR at home while he is able to kind of get those home, get where he wants to. He does take an expansion. We should see, I guess, more of a more standard build. Or standard from here anyways. Alright, so speed now finally on the way for REYNOR. He was already at 32 drones with more on the way. That will allow him to eventually get his third base, get, things very saturated, and get that economy up and running. Now, it is going to be Hellions coming out from Dream as he starts sending those across the map. And because of the way that Dream opened, this does kind of force REYNOR into more of a Ling style. He's compensating for the early aggression with more drones. So not going to have a lot of, I guess, Lings at the moment. He does have 3 queens, though, with a 4th on the way. Or a 5th now. Just to kind of make sure that everything is being able to be injected and getting that all situated. But for the most part, I mean, that's really all he has. He doesn't have that many Lings. I think he's at, what, 8 Lings? That's nothing. Ooh, I like this. Marines looking to go, I guess, potentially up towards the 3rd base, while the medevac going to go to the natural here. There is already a queen there. Let's see. Oh, Hellion's going to be able to get into the natural, looking to go up towards the main. Fortunately, with the Lings there and the queens, not going to be able to get it done. He does have Stim on the way behind this. Marines ended up just going to go ahead and heading back home. Even taking a 3rd base location behind this. It's Dream, so still just trying to continue to push forward. Now, we look at the supply difference. 46 and 23 is the stats for REYNOR. getting those workers and the army going up to the lair and getting that baling nest, which will allow him to get baling speed and eventually go back into this kind of Lingbane style that he has been rocking this whole series long. Okay, so where does Dream go behind this? I mean, obviously the third base is going to be the focal point here. But we'll see. He's making E-base. He's going to be able to finally start getting upgrades. The lair on the way now for REYNOR. We'll see. Alright, so we do got the Hellion starting to clear up some of the creep. Stim is done as the Marines start going forward, clearing more and more of the creep, going through a little bit of a choke. The Lings, though, looking for the surround. We do actually see Dream pulling back, not wanting to overextend. One of the Lings trying to scout does end up getting killed off, and Dream just going to continue to push on into the middle of the base here. Tank is on the high ground, so he does have a little bit of a buffer. But now the Lings going up towards the top, looking to shut down the tank. The tank getting a couple of good shots off as a complete surround happens. The Lings going to get totally decimated by the tank, but there's just too many of them that they're basically like a Hydra getting their heads cut off. Eventually they do get cleaned up, though. And Dream going to start pushing in. The Queen's transfusing as best as possible. They still have quite a bit of energy left, so we'll be able to hold the line for a little bit longer, and we start seeing now Dream with a few more units. He's not fully engaging this. He's just essentially keeping a contain on REYNOR's side of the map, and we actually see REYNOR now sending across a huge attack across. But yeah, sees the tank. He's going to back up. And very, very rightfully so. Now the Queen's going to start throwing out their creep tumors and just continuing to push forward and forward with that. Alrighty. Queen's getting in position of the tank. Gonna look to, take a couple of pot shots off and potentially send the Lings down. We'll actually see a nice small force coming across for Dream. Going back. Does not want to lose all of his units here. It's gonna be the big thing for him. He does have +1 on the way. Let's see. Tank's gonna start sieging up, creeping forward onto the map. We do see the Queens coming in as well. A nice scan. Sees where the army is and allows him to push onto the creep, clear some of it, and not overextend or worry about, some kind of wraparound at this point. Right. Liberator is out. Not going to be able to get too many kills, but I do think essentially he wants to try to, lock this down as much as possible. Again, it has those tanks in the back to kind of sit back on. But this is a huge little counterattack going across the map. I mean, already we do see quite a bit of supply depots and stuff, so I don't see him getting too much done. But Dream, though, just keeping the contain on this third base or fourth base location, however you want to look at it. Now the Lings actually going to get inside where the third base natural location is. Going to get on top of the tanks. The Balings looking to move in towards the map. Some decent kills. Able to kill off 7 SEVs. And eventually we do see Dream pulling back. The tank's getting cleaned up. There's only one tank left on the high ground. And it is forcing Dream to kind of scuffle around. Balings being morphed in. Actually gets scouted though from Dream. Dream gonna be able to shut it down. And Dream ready for another push. He has this basically on lockdown for the time being. There are quite a few queens here though. They do have some energy to be able to transfuse, but if Dream can continue to keep that transfuse energy low, in a good position. Oh no, but another counterattack coming across for
Your forces
REYNOR.
are under attack.
go. He'll continue to push in towards that third base or fourth base location once again. And yeah, I mean, he's making a little bit of headway. Fortunately, just cannot fully engage into this thing, especially with the Bailings and stuff looking for a wraparound. The tanks are doing a fantastic job here, but it looks like that is exactly what's going to be. REYNOR pulling the trigger. The Lynx coming up from the top, going up through the back as well, and just completely demolishing this contain. REYNOR now just in a very comfortable position as he is going to be sending into the Hive Tech. Dream going up towards the top. The REYNOR, man, just looking so good right now. Right. So a nice little kind of setback here for Dream as he is trying to split up the army of REYNOR. But there's a little bit of a ticking time bomb. Right, the Hive is about done. Once that gets done, he can start going into those really high units, getting those ultras, getting those things that Dream just seems to kind of struggle against. Could have gotten those medevacs. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Alrighty, so we have a nice little attack coming in here for Dream, looking to push up towards the top into the 6th base. This definitely looks like it could be the final. This is actually looking pretty strong from Dream, but this huge attack across the map is going to be very dangerous. The big thing, though, is REYNOR doesn't have a whole lot of home to defend with at the moment. Ends up losing this top base. Down at the bottom. There we go. There we go. Automatically, we do see Dream remaking these as a continuously REYNOR trying to push in towards this 3rd base location, but now with the tanks, with the sensor tower there, just looking insane. So we do have the ultras coming through. We will see that chitinous plating coming up as well. And yeah, man, this gets kind of scary. Now, there are a lot of tanks here for Dream. He's sitting at 8 at the moment. He's got 3 on the way at a time. He's got +2 armor, or +2 weapons being made for those tanks. +3 armor is being done for his Marines. And slowly starting to push up this once again. Now, for the time being, there's not going to be a lot of ultras, right? He doesn't have a mass amount of ultras at this point. So, it's not the end of the world or anything for Dream. You see the Lynx trying to come in for another wraparound. The Bailing's going to be able to hit. Getting a nice wraparound on top of the tank. But eventually he does have to back up and Dream now. Getting in some better positions. Really using that high ground advantage point to his vantage here. So we do have 2 more ultras on the way that will bring the total to 4. He's getting, you know, the chitinous plating. He's getting the, like the attack upgrade or whatever for ultras. This is looking very scary. So the Bailing's looking to crash in top of the Marines. Some decent splits coming out, or at least trying to trail this back. Doesn't do the best there and actually gets cleaned up. At the same time, the Marines going for a massive surround. Everything going crazy at this moment. God, even with the Queens, they are pretty high in energy, though. There's still an Ultra at the top. But it gets taken care of. I mean, he does end up kind of pushing himself back, but taking out another Ultra is that antibiotic symbiosis upgrade does complete. Now, the transfuses are coming out as we do continue to see the tanks on top doing as much damage. Instantly, the Ultras gaining more and more health. But we see the Marines, the Marauders, starting to push on top, trying to focus down the Ultras as much as possible. The energy, though, starting to run low for the Queens. The Lynx coming in, trying to get a surround on top of the tanks. But the Marines and the Marauders getting the getting on top of it all, and now we see the Queens basically without any transfuse energy, just gonna have to rely on pure attack. The Ultras will be able to clean up a tank or two, and the Bailings rolling in to crash in, even using up the mines here. But now it's just Queens and a Ultra. Lings are going to come in to help with this, but there's just so much here for Dream. I don't know if REYNOR can handle this. The tank just getting so many pot shots off. There's nothing to help with the high ground here for REYNOR. These Queens just taking too much damage. And losing a good chunk of those Lings. 5 Ultras on the way. 16 more, or excuse me, 16 more, 24 now. Lings on the way. But REYNOR does not have a lot of minerals at this point. Dream, I guess, doesn't as well. He is a little bit better off, but even the Ling run by is just not getting the damage done. We see the Marines, the Liberators, slowly starting to push up. And yeah, looks like REYNOR starting to get out of steam. Even the Ultras not able to get on top of the units yet, having to try to whittle their way through the Queens. The Queens, once again, low on energy. Do get a couple of transfuses off, but with the Liberators, with the Queen, or excuse me, with the tanks, it's just not looking good. I mean, he's going to get into another position. Another good Widowmine shot cleaning this up. REYNOR doesn't have an Overseer as well to deal with the Widowmine, so he's just continuously getting bombarded by these Widowmine shots, which is really helping out and forcing out more energy from the Queens. REYNOR, though, going to sit, or excuse me, Dream, for the moment, going to sit back, rebuilding his health on his units as they are getting pretty low. REYNOR continuing to make Lings, Bailings, and Ultras. I feel like he needs to do something else here, though. He can't just keep relying on it, and even gets that 4th base down. Now, he does have this base down at the bottom, but I don't know. This is not looking good. Another huge Ling attack gets shut down by the Widowmines. And even though we do see the Ultras and the Lings coming up here towards this 5th base location, we literally just see a string of blue going across to deal with it. Once again, these Widowmine shots, though, it does get 12 SCVs, though, so that is not bad. Pretty heavily dedicated there, so we'll see. Soldier attack just not getting the damage done. We do see the tank still sitting back. Lings end up falling, gets the Ultra as well. Yeah. REYNOR definitely looking okay. His biggest concern right now is definitely just this main front right here. Not able to take care of the tanks, not able to shut that down. Does eventually take care of the Marauders, and now we'll be able to finally clean out this bottom, but the damage has been done. And now even these Ultras not going to make it out alive, as they are just going to get chased down, hunted, and destroyed. Used for their tusks in the Peruvian landscapes, you know. Yeah, this is kind of the last ditch effort here from REYNOR. He's going to start trying to go into the natural, gets blocked off, and will eventually kind of back up the Lings. Trying to regroup with this, but he doesn't have enough to make Bailings. He doesn't have enough to really do what he wants to here. And unfortunately, it's just, he has to play defensive. He can't be aggressive at all. This top base is going to go down once again in this match. I feel like it's gone down about 4 times now. Yeah, I mean, REYNOR trying to do REYNOR things and throwing stuff everywhere, but it is just not working out for him. Dream has his number here. He is still ahead, though, altogether, but a lot of the supply is, in fact, in drones. And those aren't going to help him out here. Nice little force coming down to the bottom. Actually does scout this out. And we see the Lings going for another surround, trying to shut it down, but not after we see the base go down. And Dream just doing a fantastic job here of shutting down the economy. We look, for the most part, I think they're just kind of all over the place. Like, he's having to line distance mine for the most part. The Lings not going to be able to get in, because once again, he doesn't have any Bailings to crash through this. I think if he would have had some Bailings to throw in there, maybe it would have been a little bit better. The Ultra's just not fast enough to keep up with the Marines, and unfortunately just getting kited at this point. The Widowmine looking for a shot. Does get a huge Ling hit. And 15 Lings. Transfuse is not going to be enough, as well as we do see the Ultra starting to follow the Lings, trying to get a wraparound. May force up another pickup and move over. It's going to be very tough. We do see 22, 23 SCVs taken out as this top base once again gets taken out by this kind of Ultra Ling force. There we go. Lings slowly starting to push into it. There we go. I mean, doing a good job of surrounding the units, but there's just so much here for Dream. I don't know. Well, okay, so a lot of the supply, though, for Dream is in his army. He's at 33 workers, so if somehow REYNOR can keep holding on to this, eventually Dream's just going to run out of money. Oh, put the Widowmine shots onto the Queens, and again, REYNOR not having an Overseer is hurting him so much with these Widowmines. Oh my goodness. You see the Infestors coming down. Again, gonna kill off the base, getting on top of all of it. Ultra's trying to do what they can here, but gonna get completely surrounded. Finally, we do have those Overseers. Does he not have Overseers? He doesn't even have Overlord speed at this point. Okay, he just now got it. Oh my goodness. Infestors are coming up to try to help kind of slow some of these army units down of Dream, but killing off the Ultras, pushing this back. Once again, REYNOR in a lot of trouble. Yeah, he's got the mineral advantage, but he just does not have Dream's number in this fight. Yeah, Link's unfortunately not getting the stuff done, and this could be potentially the last push. We do see a little bit of Link's going up towards the top, but Dream, I think, just kind of continue to push into this. And what has started off as a crazy game is now 23 minutes into just a pure out brawl. Gets the base again. I mean, really, Dream doing a wonderful job of just shutting down the economy here of REYNOR. Not bad. Able to clean that up, and now we do see REYNOR slowly. Well, never mind. Slowly trying to come back to this, but I mean, I guess the good thing is he does have, like I said, he has the minerals for the moment, but not looking good. Once again, Dream going to push up towards the top, trying to deny these outer bases. Gets the Ultras. No, not good at infestation. And there we go. Dream ends up tying it up. Trying to think. So, REYNOR could definitely get aggressive on this map. Reason why I say that is this base up here is very close to the natural, and a lot of times we see the creep just trying to be spread from here all the way over here, and it's not that long of a distance. REYNOR is definitely known for his creep spread, or at least he's shown that he has really good creep spread. But instead, he is opting to take the bottom expansion, which is a little bit closer. It does allow him to, you know, I guess, all together. Not have to be so, you know, spread out, especially on a map like this where there's a lot of open space. There's a lot of opportunity for attacks from the sky. Let's make sure that he's going to be able to defend that. So, Lings do try to go across the map. Not going to be able to get anything done, and actually we see there's going to be Marines coming out from the Terran. This does allow him to get into Hellions a little bit quicker. let's take that second base, and we do see the starport on the way. It's not finishing up. Alright, sees that there is a third base, sees where it's at. Back up. Right. Guess this is going to be more of that Ling Bane kind of style coming out here from REYNOR. Dream, though, just going to continue to poke in with his Hellions. Obviously going into Overlord speed this time, wants to scout, make sure he does not miss a thing. Trying to be the ultimate Aerosmith song. So we see the Vikings now coming out for Dream, and that's able to at least get the Overlords out, building up that Queen count, going into the Bailing's Nest, and eventually I think goes up into Lair. Gets that Bailing speed, and could potentially see another like lurker style play coming out on this map with all of the like kind of tight choke points with the angles. I mean, even the third base location, you know, having these like little pillars to be able to kind of hide behind. Definitely could be the case. Now Dream can go up towards this top base, wants to clear up some more of the creep. Hiding this. Does he still have the... Do you have the medevac? Medevac is still at home, though. Okay. Stim on the way now for the Terran, while REYNOR, again, trying to get in and scout, try to get some damage done, has not had the best success at it. He is finally going up to that lair attack. He does have Bailings being completed. And we'll see kind of where he wants to go from here. The Hellions, though, still just doing their job, continuously just trying to keep the creep from spreading too much. And really, you know, through this whole thing, Dream has done such a fantastic job of that. Even has the armory on the way. Alright, Queen's slowly starting to push up towards the top, over towards this like third base location. Even with the Hellions now. Fourth base, though, on the way for REYNOR. It looks like now Dream wants to get on top of it as much as possible. Some pretty good splits coming out. Only loses one Hellion, or Hellbat there. And the Lings kind of sitting back for the time being. Do not want to just over-engage on top of this. Gets the Viking in on it and kills an Overlord. Bailing Nest with the Bailing speed coming through. I mean, for the moment, REYNOR just essentially just playing defensive. Like, I guess he doesn't have any need to be aggressive at this point. He just kind of sit back, defend what he has to, and then eventually just kind of attack from there. There we go. Tanks starting to push forward with the Marines. The Marauders trying to clear up some of the creep. There are Bailings in place, though, as the tanks slowly starting to siege up here. Queen's getting on top of it, but unfortunately, getting in range of the tanks will have to back up. The Lings trying to get a wraparound on top of the tanks. The Bailings coming in as Bailing speed does complete. Getting a complete wraparound onto the arm here of Dream and forcing it back. Third base done and landed here for Dream as he's going to continue to try to push in and continue to try to attack up. Does have combat shields on the way, +1 as well, while REYNOR throwing up some units towards the top for a little bit of a counterplay option. Especially since he knows Dream is pushing so hard up in this area. Dream has the Overlords in space. Actually, it's going to get scouted here. Very interesting, indeed. Gets a wraparound, though. Will force the pickup once again. And the creep spread slowly starting to spread towards the opponent of Dream. Who is Dream? Infestation pit on the way for REYNOR. +1 finishing up for him. Instantly +2 going to start up for REYNOR as he's just continuously just adding more and more bases. Now we saw last time that even though REYNOR was able to take a lot of bases, we still saw that Dream was able to essentially shut these down. He was continuously making sure that even though REYNOR had the drones to comply with it, he was not able to effectively mine like he wanted to. So now we see Dream once again just pushing in, clearing the creep, picking up and backing up, realizes there's no real threat besides, I guess, the queens at the moment. But as I say that, Hive Tech already on the way. Lurker Den is down, and we are going to see that Lurker Hydra Lingbane craziness that's been very popular as of late. Queen's not even able to be killed off. Fourth base now taken for Dream. He's going to go ahead and siege up his tanks and stuff, and because REYNOR's army is very melee heavy, it doesn't worry too much. He can keep the tanks behind the pillars, get some good pot shots off, and maybe even just completely shut down the attacks. 14 Bailings getting morphed out. We do have a couple of Vipers, and that Lurker Den is super close to actually being done. More scans from Dream once again, just trying to put up the creep, keep everything back. And on a map like this, if you do not take care of that creep, it is going to be in your base very, very heavily. And especially if you want to expand, if you want to be able to continue on mining, continue on making units, you need to shut those down. Seismic spines and the he's going to go into adaptive talent. He already drillings going through as well. And REYNOR starting to set him up in a pretty decent spot. I mean, we do see +2 about done for Dream, as it just now finished for REYNOR. Now, he's doing a really good job of actually just like completely surrounding the army here of Dream, but we'll see if he can actually get in. There's a lot of tanks here in this third base location. The fourth base going to get locked away with a CC and a depot, but that tank's still in position. Unfortunately, REYNOR just is trying to find different ways to attack and stuff, but finally Dream just going to return back home. We already see how well this creep is. Another attack going up towards the bottom as it's REYNOR's turn to now kind of do these multi-prong attacks. Unfortunately, because he's not able to get in, he does eventually have to back up. Lurkers are going to go ahead and siege up, taking out 2 tanks and then backing up once again. On a 6th base now. Just insane coming out from the Terran. I mean, Dream is like really heavily like sieged up at this point. Even though REYNOR even though REYNOR is completely like maxed out at this point, he's floating pretty heavily in minerals and such. Like, he can replenish this pretty easily. He's even going to throw in some Nidus networks and just continue to harass into this. Obviously, we talked about earlier that these open pathways allow for flying units to get in, and if your flying unit can, of course, make a Nidus tunnel for your units that don't fly, it makes it very, very tough. The Bailing's going to start crashing in. Tanks, though, going to end up basically shutting them down. He could have gotten another tank for that, but that's a backup. More Lurkers on the way. He's at of 12 altogether. So lurkers are now done, adding on 12 more Bailings. He does have that +3 coming through. Even taking a base up here towards the top, we do see Dream going into that Ghost Academy, adding on those additional depots, making 3 or 4 ghosts at a time. Another attack going down towards the bottom. Tanks though gonna get okay cleaned up. You see the Ghosts EMPing onto the Vipers. Not after a couple of tanks do end up falling. Here comes the Nidus play up into the main base. See, he has not reacted to it yet. It does look like now he's going to start putting the tanks up towards the top. The Ling's going to get into the main base. At the same time, more bases being taken for REYNOR. The Bailings crawling in. Not get the damage done that he was hoping for. Another Nidus network. Going to be thrown down towards the bottom location as literally we're seeing REYNOR take all of the bases. He does get 11 SEVs though with that attack, so I guess not terrible. More and more CCs. God, Dream just has so many CCs at this point. He's got 7, 8, 9, 10, and more 10 CCs altogether. Eventually, Ghosts do end up clearing a good chunk of the Liberator. Of the Lurkers. Does bring him back down to 1, so Dream doing a pretty good job of actually kind of keeping REYNOR at the minimum of Lurkers available. Not even able to take this top, or excuse me, not able to take this top base. He's going to have to end up killing this and essentially waiting for the creep to lower, but it's even worth it as another huge attack comes down towards the bottom. Fortunately, these Lings having to come in single file, but it looks like he's going to have enough to eventually just clear up a good chunk of these tanks. Lurkers getting in the right position. 6 SCVs do end up falling. Even the Bailings coming in and getting more and more. Still, the Planetary Fortress does stay alive, and the Ghost Snipe's going to be more than enough, but is 98 Lurkers to 52 here for REYNOR. Creep is already at the base, and this is exactly what we were talking about, is you let REYNOR do it, he will. See, towards the top. Going to be able to get on top of the tanks, getting some more Marines. Eventually does have to back up. Comes a nuke now. Does actually get the hit. Doesn't get any drones though, as it was able to be scouted and pulled back, but now that REYNOR knows that that is a possibility, that there are indeed those, obviously we see REYNOR with those Overseers to eventually kind of push back the Ghosts. Still, he's able to make so much. He has so much income right now. He can make Lings, he can make Bailings for day and just continue to push in, continue to siege up onto this. Just a little small gap in the Lings starting to flow in once again. Ghosts are going to go ahead and hide themselves with that cloak. Now, this is where it gets very, very scary. The tanks are going to get cleaned up. This bottom base eventually gets destroyed, killing off 7 more SCVs. Dream in some trouble. 146 supply to 186, and here comes some more Nidus plays. Eventually the Marines, the tanks, trying to make their way back into the main base, pulling themselves out of position here, and it looks like eventually these will get taken care of, but he's just going to be able to eventually make another base up towards the, or another Nidus towards the top if he wants to. He's going to go ahead and start sending in the Lings up towards the top, trying to get on top of the Ghost. The Ghost's going to go ahead and siege themselves up. Oh no, this hasn't been pulled out. 16 drones go down and a queen, as now REYNOR starting to kind of fall apart here. Again, he does have a lot of unit potential. So even though he lost a lot of that, he's still going to be able to remax himself pretty easily, even throwing in a Spire. While Dream just does not have a lot of economy. He's barely mining at this point. He's at 45 SCVs, which is okay. But most of these bases aren't even mining. He's just got SCVs all over the place sitting, which is not looking very, very good at all. Just not mining at all. And especially even with the... look at this, he's not sending them anywhere. That looks like he is going to finally kind of send them somewhere. Got Nidus Network up here. The Link's getting in, getting surrounded with the lurkers. Starting to shut things down. Dream starting to fall behind. It's the GGs. And we see Dream falling to REYNOR.